What is up, you guys? Today we're gonna talk about hospitality, how to take care of our guests and care for them and to give them the best time of their lives. Let's get into it. I have two assignments for you to think about and just take 2 minutes to think about before we go in. First thing to think about, I want you to go back to your last hospitality experience you can remember. This can be a bar, a restaurant, a hotel, so any location or venue where you were with your family or friends, and think about the most overwhelming service you have gotten. So think back, try to go back in time and remember, and you should remember those experiences, because we always remember our best experience and the worst experience, nothing in between. Anything in between, we do not invoke any emotions, and that's why you don't remember them. So go back where you were overwhelmed with good service. Okay, done it? The next assignment. You know those moments when your best friend comes to you like, hey, sit down, I have to tell you something. Those pauses, those moments where all your senses go in tune. Okay, you get it? Now we're gonna talk about service. I want to dive in those 2 points first, and then we're gonna talk more about how to actually accomplish this while working in a restaurant. The first point, you can only understand how to provide or give someone a good time or a good service when you have been through it yourself, because then you recognize the feeling, how it is to be treated well, and that people actually care for you and care, and which means care about their job. So those moments where you are like in the restaurant and people go over and beyond to help you, to help you solve your problems or needs, and when something went wrong, they'll just come and help you solve it and to own up on their mistakes. All those things you don't expect, and that's why they overwhelm you with their good service. This gives you a lingering feeling and lingering memory, and that is why you make the decision to maybe let's go there again, because they have this and this going for them, or this person works there. You see how this helps you decide your future choices as well? And this is how word of mouth is triggered as well, because then you start to tell your friends like, hey, I had my birthday at this place and they gave me this ice cream with dried ice, oh, the steam is coming out, multiple fireworks, we got sashimi and shots on the house, and it was just amazing. You see how this is like a nice story to tell, and this is why you very willingly give the advertising, like word of mouth for that place, because they overwhelmed you with good service. Second point of the homework we started out with. So when this person comes to you, I have to tell you something, and this person you relate to, obviously, you'll tune in fully, right? You get your attention up, you put your phone away, your senses go alert, and you just listen. Making eye contact with this person and just listen. This is what we mean with good service as well. So 2 things are trending. You go over and beyond for people because you love your job, but also you want them to have a good time. Second thing, you're alert and focused and have all your senses in tune for this person. I'm gonna go in why and how you can apply this in the practice. You know how we invest so much in our media? That's step 1, to get people closer to your establishments. So all the marketing, all the promotions, all the advertising, that's step 1. We give a certain promise, people are intrigued, they come check it out. That's half the work. The rest of the work, the actual work, happens when they are here. So we have set a certain expectation with our video, delicious photos, and our food porn, how to make your sushi rolls. The next step, and the most important step, is when they are here. Now the test begins, the actual match, like they call it in soccer teams. We now have to deliver on our promise and what we set out to provide as a service and a product. So they are here. Why would they go out for a dinner or a lunch? I mean, you can eat food anywhere. Especially these days, people are used to buying things in and like get order takeout or get delivered at the home, whatever it may be, or home cooking. They're used to eating at home. So why would they eventually choose to go out for dinner or lunch? So basically, get clothes, get dressed and hop in a car or transportation and get to a venue. Basically, because when you dine out, it's an experience. And the experience is not just the ambiance, the music, or the food or drink they are eating, consuming. It's also about the staff that is working around, the interactions they have with us as staff members, but also other customers. But we, as staff, play a big part. So, now you're wondering, why would I care, right? I mean, it's just a side job. Well, just imagine yourself coming back to our first assignment. Sometimes you just save up money to go out for a fancy dinner. Sometimes you go out for dinner maybe just to have a celebration for something. Or sometimes you just want to have good time with your friends. But how the service is can ruin your night or make your night, right? Recognizable? I mean, you shouldn't bother with it, but since you chose this occupation and this job and you are there and you have a direct impact, a causal effect on their experience and basically their night of the group, not only one person, this has impact on the whole group. It might be useful to know how to be on your best self and how to give them a good experience. So just think back, how would I be treated on the best way? And so try to give them a best service. Here are a few things to pay attention to. Here are 10 points where you have to pay attention to when working in the restaurants. First one, hospitality, it's from the beginning until the end. Make sure you greet every guest you see, coming in the restaurant, but also leaving the restaurant. I know some of you will just simply ignore you, but it's about what you do and not what they do. So try to, however you want to do it, automate the greeting. Like, hey, how nice of you to drop by. Hey, fancy seeing you here. Welcome back again. How are you doing? Or have a good day. I hope you have enjoyed your stay, and so forth and so forth. So try to greet them always while they come in and always when they leave. Even though you think some colleague will greet them, just take the initiative and do it anyway. Second point, never leave a guest hanging. What do I mean by this? This goes with the first point. When they come in, they probably want to be checked in, or they have information they want to ask you about. Never leave them hanging. Even though you think this might not be my task or I lack the information, still go greet them, check if you can help them or not, and just say, hey, I'll get a colleague who knows more about this or who specializes on this area. The same with the bills. If you want to pay, don't leave them hanging. The same with plates. If they have stacked plates, don't leave them hanging. So basically, if you see something, an action that has to be happened, take action instead of waiting or thinking who's gonna do it. Our next point, make sure they feel at home. So basically, you're giving a dinner party and they're your dinner guests. And you have to approach it like this as well. I know they are strangers, you don't know them, why would I care? But still, it's your house, you're the host. Although you might not be assigned being a host, still, the guests that are coming here, they think you are, because you are running the place or working here. So this means when you greet them, really try to honestly, authentically smile at them. So look them in the eye, and that's a nice trick. That's a nice trick to give you. Try to recognize the color of their eye. The only way you can do this is really look deep in someone's eyes. That's one. Secondly, just authentically try to smile. Third point, coming to our second assignment in the beginning, being alert and just in tune when they are talking or speaking to you. So now you look engaged and really care about what they're talking about. So get that feeling again, like what I told you about a good friend who's trying to tell you something important, where it needs all your attention. Yes, that friend is now the guest in front of you. Try to open all your senses towards that information and to make them feel special, because they are. Our next point, the posture. What do I mean by this? You're like, what the fuck? Are you my mom? I have to stand up straight? Kinda. So we already talked about you're like the host of the restaurant or the host of the party or the dinner party. Well, when people walk in, they see you work there. People are generalists. When they see one example, they'll push it through with all the employees or staff members. So if you have a lackadaisical posture, you don't care, you just hang around, whatever, what do you portray, you think? Just think back if you were the customer and seeing that happening in front of you. If you're just chit-chatting, joking around with the co-worker and you don't pay attention to guests, what would you think about those two persons chit-chatting and laughing around? I know, not really professional, right? And that's what I mean. When they come here, they don't care which position you're in, function group you're in, whether you're new or work here for 5 years. They just know you work here and you have to help them in the best possible way. And this also means that you have to show that you actually like your job. I mean, haven't you been to a Starbucks shop or a bank or any place, open spots, when they have service workers and someone just hate that job? I know. You'll notice that they really hate that job and don't want to be there. What does that portray to you? You're like, maybe this might be the best place to work or maybe to be at. Well, that's what I mean with the posture. So when you're at work, try to give the positive vibe, open posture, so you're welcoming, and try to notice people. And that means the same with the grooming. So if you're a dude, just trim your beard or like your mustache. Or when you're a girl, try to put your hair back straight so everything is tidy and neat. And when you have a work attire, try to wear them always. Same thing with the look. And not to say that you have to go on full-on makeup here, drag race, everything. No. Just representable. That you look like someone that's in a service sector. So basically you are looked at and people want to look at you. That's all. It doesn't mean that you have to put on a lot of makeup, just the basics of the basics, so you look representable. This brings me to the next point. And this one you're gonna hate. You're gonna need to do your homework. What do I mean by this? So the whole posture thing, the good service, the smile, hospitality, being hospitable, that's only also the half work of the match. I mean the work. The next thing, so basically what they say, when you be in hospitable, welcoming, you open their hearts. But when you use your knowledge, so basically give them good service in the sense with the right accommodations, the right steps to do, the right work to do, you're actually winning them. So the one is open their heart, and then the next step is knowing your stuff. You know how frustrating it is, and you're sitting in a restaurant, something goes wrong, and you ask the waitress or the waiter, hey, what's this? And they just say, I don't know, ask someone else. What does that portray to you? Again, not really professional. You want to know your stuff, and even if you don't, have some cheat sheets to come over across like you know it, or have the right answer ready. So I'm gonna give you a few tips on this point. So first of all, you cannot not know yourself. So learn the drinks card, learn the cocktail card, learn the menu. And I mean, you don't need to know everything specifically, but at least you should know what surimi means, or which beer comes from the tap, or why we have our gin selection like this. And we'll make different videos, all separate in categories for you, so you can better understand why we choose certain beverage, certain tonics and cocktails, and so forth. So this is one. But however, if you're watching this and you're new, I am aware that you don't know everything by heart yet. Unless you are really photographic memory, then you know it maybe after reading once. I hope you would like that, and then I'm really envious of you. So, about some things you can cheat from. How I used to do it when I don't know, when people ask about, hey, what kind of beer do you serve? Grab the beer card, the drink card, open with them, like look with them, like give him the extra service. Well, here's the trick. You look with them, so you cheat from the card and just name the drinks we have from the card. Same with the dishes. People like ask like, hey, do you have this and this, or what is this and this? Just open the menu card where they're referring from. Read the description, because most of our dishes have descriptions, have photos, and use your logic. If you see avocado, salmon, and cream cheese, that's probably in there, right? And if they are asking about lactose intolerance, then you know cream cheese is there. You're like, nah, stay off it. Even though if you don't know the dish, you now cheated off the menu. Then we have some replies to get back without coming over across like unknowing. So people are asking like, hey, what kind of gin tonics can you recommend me? First of all, always notice their question. So like, hey sir, gin tonics, good question. I'm actually really busy now. I'm gonna put this away and we'll come back, right? Two things you can do from then. Either you go to someone that knows their stuff and ask for the best sellers, because I mean, you don't know this guy yet. Or if you done your homework on this table, then maybe you do. But if you don't, just give them the top sellers. Go to the bartender or whoever's in charge. Hey, what would you recommend? Or get someone else to that table, right? Just tell them, yo, this table needs advice. Can you maybe better help them? You've done two things. Basically, you didn't appear unknowing. You just appeared really busy. And now someone else steps in who can fully provide them with the information they need. So these ways, that's the thing you can do just to help and better provide the service to your guests. This, a little bit to add on the last point, when people ask for recommendations. First of all, you have to watch all the videos we are posting. This will give you a lot of insight and you'll just know why we choose our selection and why the selection is chosen, but also what it's about, so you know more about it. Also, it does help if you just ask about it, like, hey, what's the difference between Pinot Grigio and Riesling? I don't know. If you have time, just ask about a product they're selling. Because the more you know, the better you can help the people, the happier the people will be, the happier you'll be, and the easier your life will be at work. Remember, everything is about how much you can have fun. Well, the rest is having fun. So, a little cheat sheet, same thing, about the cocktails. When people ask about, hey, what's this cocktail about? Or they just ask you like, hey, what would you recommend? You just try to gather information. So if they say, I like tropical stuff, I don't like Malibu, nothing too strong. What do they say to you? Well, basically something from the tropical tiki cocktail range, because they like tropical stuff. Tropical tiki, that's a category already. Now we're gonna do this thing with opening the card and reading with them. Yes, you're gonna do this. Open the card, go with tropical and tiki, choose anything that doesn't have Malibu, because she said she doesn't like Malibu. And just like, hey, would you maybe like this? Because it has, you're reading, this and this and this and this. Most of the time, she'll just say yes, because you recommended this for her. Because just remember this, if you don't even know how the cocktail tastes, the guests won't even know either. They'll take your word for it. Okay. Things with recommendations with gin tonics or beers or wine. One trick, well, two things. One, we want to sell our margin maker. What does that mean? Something that costs us little but earns us a lot, our margin maker. So this one you're trying to sell, right? If people appear, and I know you have to know a little bit of humans, but if they appear, they just want to have a good drink, but they don't really care about the specifics, try to sell the margin makers, because that makes us happy as a restaurant, because like we earn more money, but people also get what they want because it's obviously also the most seller. Next thing, the next advice you always can give is the most wanted items. And I know you don't know the POS system, you don't know what revenue we're making on certain items, but there is one thing you do know, which is the eye test. You see the drinks coming around, you see the drinks that are on the tables. And eventually, if you work long enough, and this can be only 2 week time, you'll notice certain drinks on the table, right? If the Malibu Babies is there and you don't know at first what that is, just ask people like, hey, what's this drink I'm seeing everywhere? Okay, from then on you take notes. Malibu Babies. Next time people want to ask you about recommendation. Hey, I would like a cocktail, tropical cocktail, nothing too strong. You know what you have to say, right? Malibu Babies, because you see this selling everywhere. Also, nice thing to know. That's one of our margin makers. So this is how you can provide them with the correct service and tips. So now here's the thing about mistakes. Everyone makes them, so it's fine if you drop your tray. I know you're fearing this to happen in practice in front of everyone, all your friends, like very embarrassing. But it's actually not. It's only embarrassing how you scream when it falls. Then you catch all the attention because you're screaming because it's falling. The lesson here, it's never about when or if you make mistakes. It's always about how do we respond on the mistake. Try to communicate. First of all, if things go wrong, communicate to the guests. So if things are delayed because of you or in general, or if you drop something, always communicate to the guests in the neighborhood who that concerns. Just say, hey, my bad, I haven't slept well, I have a rough night, whatever the reason may be. Try to make it funny too. So they are like, haha, whatever, it can happen. Then you recover. So if you dropped a glass, what do? Apologize, grab a dustbin, and then just dust it up. Maybe a towel if something is wet, Action, reaction. We talked about this in the previous segment. When you see something happen, just action. So when you drop something, apologize first, grab stuff to clean it, re-enter the item or let it enter to bring it again. Don't forget the last part, because you can clean everything, but they still miss the wine you dropped. Don't forget about that. So it's always about how you recover. It's fine to drop stuff, it's fine to make mistakes, but learn from it and just respond quickly. Just don't stand there and do nothing. That's always the wrong thing. Doing nothing is always the wrong thing. That's actually one of the golden rules. We should add this in the list. Doing nothing is always the wrong thing. So, action, reaction, and recover. That's quick, but really important. Okay, now we're gonna talk about alertness, attentiveness. So as we say in Dutch, attent zijn, klantvriendelijkheid. It only means when you see certain things happen in which you can help people with, try to help them. If you see people struggling with chopsticks, give them help chopsticks. Just say, hey, we have help chopsticks. Do you want them? Or cutlery. If someone, for instance, per accident shoved their napkin on the ground, maybe grab them a new napkin. Those kind of things. If someone just came in the restaurant and really out of breath, maybe they had to rush for an appointment. Hey, can I maybe give you a glass of water so you can replenish? If it's raining fucking hard, just ask if you can take that umbrella away or hang that coat up. I know if it's after COVID, it's possible. Just what I'm also trying to say is a little bit further, but just be attentive but alert. If you're alert, you can see these things and you can respond to it. It's only human. And this is how you help people, and this is what service means. And so it does not mean when people say after every dish you have to clean the table. No. But at least try to clean out the empty tables when they are empty. And that's the same thing when we mean action, reaction, being alert. And this part and this item is difficult, but yet super important. Try to establish a certain bond, relationship, however short it may be, with this guest or your guests. And I know you're just running around, giving food, giving drinks, serving stuff, taking up plates, cleaning tables. There is little room. But actually, this can be in subtle ways. So try to also notice what is going on around them. Just a random example. If a person leaves the table and went to the toilet but leaves them alone for a long time, it's fine. Just to say like, hey, your friend is gone long. What's happening? You think she's alright? Fall down to the toilet or something like that. Make some fun. Make some jokes. Same thing with asking where they're from. If you think they're or over here, and that's the thing, like, I know you don't have to listen everyone into their conversation, but sometimes you overhear stuff and they're asking about stuff, like, hey, what is this meat? And then it's actually fine to just step in and say like, hey, this is actually pork meat, being like assertive but also proactive. And just, if there is opportunity, try to go in. If we are at the beginning of the shifts and you help welcome people, say like, hey, welcome my shift first time, probably people will say like yes or no. If they say yes, it's like, okay, sure, where are you guys from? Just start a conversation and maybe something will happen from there. And we'll have a very long video about this, how you can build this up, stack questions up and hold a conversation. But at least try to make some kind of connection and just show that you care and that they are special. If they are telling you stuff, I know it can sometimes be like a border or boring maybe, but it means a lot to them, so they can tell them story to you. So it's not about you, it's about them. So just listen, be attentive, respond when need to be. And then at the finale, the final points, how you clear the table and the goodbye. So we already touched upon, so you have to greet every guest. So this is the same when they leave the restaurant. You have to help them fast, even if they want the bill. Make sure you're there, know what to do and how to help them with the bill. Then clean out the table quickly and clean the table. This means because when people are arriving, they don't care if the table was taken before. They're just gonna sit down. And believe me, they don't want to sit down on a table that's really dirty. How do you prevent that? Well, basically when people leave, clean it quickly. So that when the people arrive and just sit down, even though we have protocols and systems, some people just walk in and just sit down. We want to avoid this. So as thumb of rule, just try to clean the table within 2 minutes. Just clean it out, clean it up, and set it up as good as possible. If you don't know how to set up the table real quick and real fast and real neat, how we want to set it up, ask people and try to practice it as well. For instance, for 1 week, call it upon yourself to do all the tables. Because after 1 week, if you don't know it, then there's no other time to learn it. So try to take it upon yourself to learn it if you can do it. So this concludes our very long talk, but remember, it's all about happy customers, but it's all about happy you. And how do we achieve happy you? Well, giving your people the best time you can actually. Because let me put it this way. If things go sour at the table, they'll probably make your life miserable, right? So the tough work will be tougher. Then you'll complain to your guests, not your guests, your co-workers. Their life just become a little bit miserable as well. Maybe this guest will also project their anger to your co-workers. Now the whole team is kind of messed up because one table is not feeling happy. And the whole energy just shifts from there. Because the people around them are going to hear the complaints. The people at the same table are going to hear the complaints. Your co-workers are hearing the complaints. You are getting the full blast of it. Well, in the beginning, they just asked about, where is my fucking tomato soup? All you had to do was say, hey, we did a mistake. The ticket didn't came out of the printer. We're going to enter it again. I'm really sorry. It's going to take a while, but it's coming to your table as soon as possible. And then you make sure you go up to the station where the soup is made and make sure you personally bring it to the table. See what we did there? Just one small mistake. It can be solved within 5 minutes. Could otherwise give you hell. And that is why not only does the good service make happy customers, but it also make you happy and the whole team, and the whole vibe of the setting will rise with you. So I hope this was clear. If there's any questions, please do ask. When you see them, really important. When you notice stuff where you have questions about, just raise the question when you notice. Have a good day.